Testing 1, 2, make sure I can be heard. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Want to make sure I sound good and clear. Last time I was on the wrong mic, so let me make sure you all can hear me. Give me a 1 in the chat. I see a 1 there. Audio's good. Thank you, my guy Mo. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. We're going to get started here in a moment. You still got time to tell a friend, tell even an enemy, tell them that we about to go live. I got some stuff we need to share. This is the Doomsday edition of the Weekly Blend. We're going to get started here in a moment. Just hang tight. As you're coming in, drop those 10 of the days. We'll touch base with that real quick. Make sure you hit that like button too. Let's get those likes up. We need everybody here. And yes, Mo, get your popcorn ready. My wife is getting her popcorn together too, because yeah, it's about to get fun. All right, y'all, buckle up.
The Weekly Blend, live every week. Fragrance, culture, conversation.
You asked for it, here we go.
Give me a moment. Give me just a moment. Let me get something figured out here. There we go. All right, there we go. We are live. We are good. Let me get this music down. Let's just go ahead and we're going to jump into it. We're going to get started. We go through the chat real quick. Say what's up to everybody. Rob is first in. Hey, y'all. Hey, Rob. Hello, all. Hey, Kev. Good to see you. Joel in there with 10 of the days. Car Paris. Blood. Mo's got his popcorn ready. Hit that like button. Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Wheelchair Mafia. Good to see you, my friend. John, good to see you, my guy. Definitely good to see you. Marianne, David, listen, let's jump down. Simone, good to see you, sis. All right, crisp and clear, we good. Got family affair going. Perfect. All right, what's good, everyone? All right, let's jump into this. Dutch, good to see you, my guy. We got 46 in the building. Listen, make sure you are hitting that like button. Let's make sure we get those likes up, get those likes going. But let's just cut the music. I don't need any music. We don't need any background. We're going to just jump right into this and we're going to have this conversation tonight. All right. I got a lot to go through, a lot to discuss, a lot to cover. But let me first kind of give you why I'm doing this. Many of you know I've been a pastor. I've been in ministry. My wife and I have been in ministry we've been married for almost 30 years in May. I was in ministry a little before I met my wife. We met at Bible school. So I've been in ministry for a good portion of my life. Say that. One of the things that sticks out for me, I always try to live my life through biblical principles. I try to live my life as a pastor should, right? There are two scriptures that really will apply to this. And we're not going to ask you to turn and touch, touch neighbor, all that fun stuff. But I do want to give you kind of the who I am and why I'm doing this. The first one is there's a passage, I believe it's in Romans, that basically tells us that if there's anyone among you who is sowing discord, and then you basically mark them, you basically put them out of the community. And yes, it is talking about, in that particular passage, it's talking about if they're sowing discord as far as teaching a different gospel. However, I apply that to the entire concept of community. Whenever there's a community, if there's someone that is doing things that are harmful or detrimental to the community, then there should be the excusing that person from the community. It does happen occasionally in church. There was one particular time when I was in, a senior associate pastor. We had to ask someone to, well, actually not ask. We had to tell someone to leave the ministry. Why? Because they were doing things that were doing more harm than good to the community. And because they were not willing to change their behavior, we said we'd rather dismiss one than harm the rest that are there. So that's the first reason why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. The second reason is this. The Bible also gives us kind of how we handle conflict. When there's conflict, the Bible tells us, the scriptures tell us that if you have aught, or if you have an issue with a person, then what you need to do is you need to go to that person first. If they don't receive you, then you go and take 2 or 3 with you. If they don't receive the 2 or 3, then you bring it before the community or before the church, as it is in scripture, but you bring it before the community, and then you treat them, as the Bible says, as a heathen. Now, I don't have the ability to dismiss anyone from this community, but I do believe that I have a responsibility to let those in the community know what has happened and what is apparently seeming to continue to occur allegedly. All right. So that's the first thing we need to address as far as why I'm doing this. All right. So understand that I'm doing this systematically. I'm doing this for a reason. This is not just, oh, I'm mad. This is also to help to safeguard the community. All right. So with that said, let me get this up here. Let me get my slide up here. And we're going to start here. All right. Let's go here. Let me make sure you all are seeing the right things. That's not it. Wrong one. My bad. I'm trying to run a few different things. So give me just a second here. There we go. That's the one. All right. So this is the truth about my experience with BlvckAroma Distribution LLC. This is what I can actually point to and say, this is what took place. All right. And yes, hey, Corey, I know you're watching. What's good? Good to see you. All right. So let me give you my disclaimer first. This live stream is being presented as an exercise of First Amendment rights regarding freedom of speech and freedom of press. What you're about to see and hear stems from my and my guest's personal and business relationship with Corey Keith, AKA, oh, are you all not seeing that? I'm sorry. Let me add that to a stage. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'm sorry. All right. So yes, this is the truth about my experience with BlvckAroma Distribution LLC and Corey Keith. All right. We got that there. We're good. Now, let me go back and give you my disclaimer. This live stream is being presented as an exercise of First Amendment rights regarding freedom of speech and freedom of press. What you're about to see and hear stems from my and my guest's personal and business relationship with Corey Keith, aka Keith Corey, aka Corey J. Keith, aka Keith J. Corey, and the BlvckAroma Distribution LLC business, now known as Blvck Intelligence on Instagram. These are our individual and collective statements regarding our interactions with the previously mentioned individual and business. We will work to clearly define and indicate experiences that we have firsthand knowledge concerning. Those items should be taken as factual. As part of the freedom of press, I will be revealing what I've uncovered through a variety of sources, including government documents, allegations from third-party sources, including government, and any and all current legal proceedings which are being discussed here are to be taken as simply that, allegations. You are free and encouraged to determine your own opinion regarding the veracity and facts of those allegations. I simply present the allegations as a matter of public interest and in the spirit of investigative journalism and free press. All right. Let me stop sharing that for just a moment. Let's go back here. So yes, what I'm about to show you, what I'm about to tell you, what we're about to go through, this is fact. Where there is allegations, I will tell you that they are allegations. All of this is to be taken as far as what I present to you as far as fact. This is fact. So there is no defamation. There's none of that. In fact, let me jump back because I think I did put that in there as well. Give you this here, just a second here. All right, so we got that back again. All right, now, one other thing I will say is basically let's define what, and I don't have the slide here, but let's define what defamation is, and let's define what slander is. And let me get my information up here, just because I want to make sure that I have the right information. So let's define defamation, libel, and slander to ensure that we're all working to operate in a manner that encourages truth. Defamation is the umbrella legal term for making a false statement presented as fact about a person or entity that harms their reputation. Slander is the verbal act of defamation. Libel is the written or published act of defamation. To help us safeguard against this, you will be presented with screenshots and other documents from personal or reliable public sources. You are encouraged to view them for yourself to determine the veracity. Let me just say this. I'm just going to keep this slide up because we're going to run into some things. Let me just keep this slide up. We're talking about, at the end of the day, we're talking about truth versus untruth. Where there are allegations, again, I will make sure, and I will work to make sure that we will be very clear about what are allegations and what is our factual experience that we had with Corey Keith, aka Keith Corey, aka all of those. And I will even provide you documentation to show you that that is how the government lists him as far as the aliases. All right. So let's jump into this. So let's talk at the beginning. All right. So at the beginning, Corey reaches out to Walt with Lay Persona PR, right? And I'm going to try and get some dates up here and get some things up here. And what's good, Smell Good Chronicles, good to see you. And what we're going to do is we're going to, Walt could not be here. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and Walt did go ahead and record a video. So I'm going to go ahead and show portions of the video to help corroborate some of the things that I am sharing and telling you. All right. Let's go there. Make sure I've got the right thing queued up here. And let's go here.
I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. I first met Corey actually through Lay Persona. If you guys notice on Instagram, Lay Persona has an official page, but the original Lay Persona page is a page that Corey actually came up with on Instagram. It has since changed names to several different things: BlvckAroma, Blvck Reviews, Blvck Intelligence, Alim. So whatever it is at this point, you guys may, for those of you who are coming into the space for the first time, started dealing with some health issues, kidney issues or whatever. So I was gone from the community for about 2 months. And I came back around, it was a little after June, around July, because I remember my sister and my dad's birthday is the 6th and the 9th. So when I came back, Lay Persona was one of the first brands. Well, Corey was the distribution arm behind that.
All right. So we'll leave that there for a moment. And let's go back to our tab here. So again, Corey reaches out to Walt with Lay Persona PR. So this happens around July or August of 2025. Now, I want you to keep in the back of your mind, keep that keep that July, August timeframe, because that's going to be important to some things that I've uncovered, right? Now, as far as for me, while on live with Walt, Corey reaches out to me regarding Street Scent Dubai PR. So that begins my relationship with Corey. Now, shortly after that, probably around November-ish, Corey brings myself, Walt, and another creator. And I know you're in the chat. If you want to self-identify, it's cool, but I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything. Brings us into a WhatsApp chat, basically as a BlvckAroma collab group. Now, within this group and in the conversations that we have, Corey presents himself as a distributor. Corey presents himself as a part owner of House of Dubai stores. He presents himself as part owner of Thana and that it would launch in Neiman's in January of 2026. He lists himself and tells us that he is the international distributor for a US-based brand. I'm not going to tell you which one. Many of us are familiar with that, but because I'm not going to tell you, there's some reasons I'm not going to tell you. He stated as of November of 2025 that in the business he had made $3 million with a goal of $20 million in 2026. He intimates to us that he has a deal with Gissa. He says that he has signed a Tijan franchise agreement, which is a kind of make your own perfume place. He also tells us that he's representing other brands or consulting with them, and that he opened a Paris office. All right. Okay. So Jonathan identified himself. So yes, John did identify himself. So John was part of that. Yes. So now you have the three parties that were in this chat, and John can corroborate the things that I'm telling you. These were the things that were being said within our discussions within that group chat. All right. Let's go back and let's visit with Walt and see what Walt has to say a little further on. Let's get our time here.
That's true. And so I'll never forget that conversation that night. He just started vomiting all of this information about the industry. I mean, like, and I'm green. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, bro, I'm getting all of this info. And in full transparency, I'm sharing the information because it sounds good. And that's the thing. He knows I will give him his credit. He knows how to make it sound good. And like I said, I don't want to take up a lot of time because there's a lot to this. But as things progress, Corey called me every single day. It would usually be, I start work at 8. Corey would either call me before 8 or a little after 8. I was trying to finagle stuff with work, you know what I'm saying, taking break, all kind of crazy stuff, man. Just to have these conversations about the industry and what I later understood now to be grooming, because it was just this data dump of info. Me being the person that I am, me being intense about research, analytics. I love the business side, the back end. I fed into that. And so no fault to his own. I got to take accountability for that as well, being naive to some things. And so things progress. And then here comes the PR things here, the PR things there, or whatnot. The first big.
All right. Let's move a little forward because I want to corroborate as far as the information that I told you as far as House of Dubai.
And so also here's the crazy part. This is also the time where, and I had a conversation via FaceTime with the owner of House of Dubai, which is based out of Chicago in Illinois. I remember Corey supposedly became a partner. Corey allegedly or supposedly they bought him this vintage Corvette. He FaceTimed me, showed me the Corvette or whatever that they allegedly bought him when he was in Chicago. He was trying to figure out a way to get it home or whatever. I don't know if they even bought him that or whatever, or if he just made it seem like that. And we worked out a deal, 6-figure deal, you know, that I was going to be one of the new ambassadors for the store. So there are two things I'm sitting here waiting on. I'm waiting on contract and I'm waiting on the ticket information for Beauty World.
All right. So let's get back to our PowerPoint. Yes, we got a PowerPoint. Yes. So Walt has helped to confirm that Corey has presented himself as distributor, that he was part owner of House of Dubai. Now, there's some other things that I will leave Walt to talk about because we're probably going to do a part 2. I think we've talked about probably doing it on Walt's channel, maybe this Monday. I don't know. We'll see. One thing I did forget also, he also stated that he was the exclusive North America business partner for the Zoologist brand. And I do have some screenshots to show for that as well. So all of these things are part of the beginning of setting up of Corey as far as what we have an understanding of, as far as who we have come to know as Corey / BlvckAroma Distribution. All right. With that said, let's jump forward. Now, Scent Explorer. Now we go to Scent Explorer. Now, I met Corey for the first time physically in Scent Explorer in New York. Now, this is something that later on in retrospect, I especially after it was pointed out, I didn't think anything of it. I thought he was just kind of posted up, but Corey was at Scent Explorer, but avoided the main floor. And there's a creator that's in here, that's in the chat right now. If he wants to identify, he can definitely do that as well. But he had another creator run things in and out of the showroom for him. The reason that we've come to understand the significance of that is that it seems as if that's around the time that things really started to go left as far as brands were starting to look for him, or allegedly starting to look for him. In fact, there is one particular shop that's in New York that my understanding allegedly is that they were looking for him. All right. Yes. So yes. Who is it? Mo talking about, yes, saying met for the first time. Man was moving around Scent Explorer like he ain't want to be seen. So Mo was there as well. Mo can attest to that as well. So this is not just me saying stuff just to say stuff. That was the observation, especially as we're now putting things together. Now, Corey did get us into the Kajal event. So there was a Kajal event that you all have heard us talk about. I got this as a gift from Kajal. So I'm going to give Corey his flowers where he needs flowers, right? Because he's going to need flowers. But he got us into the Kajal event. Now there was a discussion, and John can attest to this in the chat, but there was a discussion of us going to a Louis Vuitton party, and he said that we would change at his place if needed, right? Because he was stating that he's in New York and all of that fun stuff. We did have a couple of meals together. We did have that information going through. We went to Oswald's. We went to another fragrance store. Corey did not attend the party at Emmanuel's, and allegedly Emmanuel's is the store that is looking for Corey. All right. While also at Scent Explorer, in the conversations and things that we had going on, Corey was saying that next time we come to Scent Explorer, he would basically have us at his home, which has acreage in New Jersey. I can tell you that I've not found any address, and I have a lot of addresses, not only in Pennsylvania, but I have some addresses that were in South Carolina. There are no addresses that I can find for Corey in New Jersey. Now, I can't say that that's a lie. However, I can simply say I'm not finding anything. Now, let me also do this. Let's do this. I'm going to do a quick poll real quick. Now, Walt a few weeks ago started or had a conversation, and Walt at that moment began to at least let know that there were some things that were happening with Corey. And in that video, in that live, he called Corey a liar, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to come up with a community definition. I want to come up with a community standard that we're going to operate with tonight, because I'm not going to call anyone a liar for one lie, right? But if you can put the number, I'm going to give you 4 options. If I can present 3 lies, would that make Corey, as far as this community, not a legal definition, but if I can present to you 3 lies, would that be able to be enough for this community to say that Corey is a liar? Or do you need 5? Or do you need 7? Or do you need 10? So those are the options: 3, 5, 7, or 10. If I can present 3 lies, 5 lies, 7 lies, or 10 lies, would that be enough for us to label Corey as a liar for this community, right? I'm not trying to give a legal definition. I'm not trying to say legally he is a liar. I want to know for this community, what can we define as far as being a liar? I see a 3 there. Okay. Cher's asking, do I have that many? We can see. Let's see what we got. I got 3 so far. What else we got? Lachey says 3 is enough for her, because why are we lying out our big age? Okay. Share 3. Depends, are the lies EDPs or parfums? Okay. 5 for Marion. Okay. 3 lies times is enough. Scentball says 3. So it seems like the consensus right now seems to be 3. All right. So I'm identifying 1, a lie as far as the acreage for the home in New Jersey. All right. We go back. Let's see. I've been told I can't confirm independently. I have reached out to the owner. What I see is the owner, but right now we're going to call a half lie as far as we're going to call a lie as far as the Thana launching in Neiman's in January 2026, because it's not happening. All right. Let's see what else. I'm going to tell you why I speculate that the making of $3 million is a lie. I'll show you that in a moment. All right. Let's see what else. Representing other brands or consulting them, open Paris office, all of those things. All right. So that's where we are as far as Scent Explorer. All right. Let's go. Now, I'm going to lay this out. Jason, if you want to hop in, you can definitely hop in. Now, part of the issue stems from, and you'll hear, let's see, let's do Corey's conversation on this first. Let me get there. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button for me. All right, let's go.
All these different types of things. I'm like, okay, cool. And then things develop. He got this vision. He want to make 20 million next year. And allegedly there's this deal on the table. Walt, I need you full time. This is the amount of if it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. My man offered me too cool. And then things creative direct. And I know I'm skipping of America or Wells Fargo card. Not for a business dinner. That's neither here or there. That was kind of shady, but that's neither here or there. But at the same time, this is why this whole creative direct, and I know I'm skipping a lot. because I'm gonna let Kevin and I'm gonna let other people fill in the holes, and I'll come back and give my full account later. You know, I'm offered the creative director role, all these different types of things. I'm like, okay, cool. And then things develop. He got this vision. He want to make 20 million next year. And allegedly there's this deal on the table. Walt, I need you full time. This is the amount of if it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. My man offered me $250,000 as a base salary. Now I'm thinking, okay, on the basis of the money you made last year, the team, I didn't know what was getting ready to come. Okay, I can understand that. That kind of, it's not far off, but now it's weird because now you're pulling people in. And it goes from just me to like, okay, here comes Jason. Okay, cool. Here comes Kev. Okay, cool. Here comes 40 other people. Okay, so now you're taking a company from just being this solo entrepreneur to building this huge corporate structure so you can go after this alleged dream of getting this money from Deutsche Bank, you know what I'm saying, for $50 million. Because you have this idea, this vision. I'm not mad at it. I'm a visionary. Do what you do. And you have this money in hand. That's how it was presented to us. Not you got a deal on the table that you're trying to get. You already got the deal. You got the loan. You took out the loan. You had to put up the collateral, all this kind of stuff. You put all the money up, all the assets up to make it happen. And he goes ghost.
All right. So let's stop there. Let's get our tab back because now we're going to talk about the offer. And let me bring my guy to the stage real quick. Everybody welcome Jason Vircher, aka Fragcom is a business. Shout out for the shirts. Fragcom is a business. Let's have the conversation, Jason.
Yo, what up, man?
What's good? What's good?
What's up, bro?
So I'm going to lay out, and you're welcome to jump in at any point.
Can I give a disclaimer real quick, Kev? Can I give a disclaimer real quick? I mean, Kev's gonna come with the, nice, disclaimers and professional. Look, bro, I'm gonna tell y'all how this shit really went down, bro. Like, bro, this Negro full of shit, habitual liar, and y'all gonna get the real spiel 100%, man. So, yeah. Go ahead, Kev. When you ready for me to chime in, bro. Yeah, I'm about to let this shit out, bro.
I got you. So I'm showing you the text messages that I received from Corey. All right. Shortly after I got back from Scent Explorer, it was that Tuesday. Corey calls me and he's like, hey, what is your thoughts as far as what can you provide if I were to bring you on board? What can you provide as far as your expertise, your things that you can do? And I have a slight tech background. I'm leader. I've been leadership, a variety of things. I even, while I was in the group with John and with Walt, as far as the creative collab group, the Thana Parfums US site, I helped to get some of those pictures to fit so that it didn't look janky. I did that just in a matter of a few moments, just because I have some skills in that nature, right? So I did that. So I'm telling him, hey, this is what I can do. I already know at this point that he has made an offer to Walt, and Walt's come along as the creative director of BlvckAroma as far as what was supposed to be done. So he basically makes the offer to me. He initially sends me this offer here for $150,000 to be essentially the CTO of the organization. Basically, we talked about it, and then you can see here. Let me kind of make this a little bigger so you can see. So you can see CTO, full-time, 150 US salary, $10,000 as far as a signing bonus. Now, of course, I have questions because at this time, he's also saying he's going to base this in Atlanta. He's going to start this in Atlanta. And as a result, he would want all of his executive team there in Atlanta. So you can just kind of see here, I'm asking questions as far as, let me get back there. As far as how is this going to work as far as flights? Am I flying myself back and forth? All of this stuff. So no need to go into all of that, but just so you know, there's some conversations there as far as who's going to pay for what, all of that stuff. Jason, how did your offer go?
All right. I'm going to just kind of rewind a little bit and just kind of let y'all know how I got tired in all this bullshit. All right. I'm the type of person, man, I just be laying in the cut. I do what I do. I don't bother nobody. I stick to myself. I'm all about my business. That's just me. Fragcom is a business. I mean, I'm just about business at all times. You know what I'm saying? So the way I came across Corey is he was, I think I was on like in the channel on one of Walt's Live, and he was in there, you know, talking and whatever he was talking and whatnot. And I noticed that, you know, BlvckAroma was sending any and everybody, you know, that pretty much wore fragrance PR, lay persona and whatever. So I just made a little comment saying, yo, like, you know, damn, you know, Corey ain't sent me shit. So about 2 days later, you know, I get you know, DMs exchange between me and Corey, whatever. So he sends me the Thana discovery joint or whatever. So, you know, I get that. All right, cool. You know, he sent over the thing. I mean, you know, when I got it, the shit was rattling around in the box like a pebble in a tin can. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, the shipping is kind of shitty, but all right, whatever. You know, it's free. So I ain't about to sit up there and bitch about it. So you know, some time goes by, you know, he calls me as soon as I get it. You know, as soon as it touched down, he's on my phone. Give him my initial thoughts, first impressions, you know, over the phone with him or whatever. And I'd probably say it was maybe around, it was a little before Thanksgiving. Because I'm gonna tie this all into where you're talking about people lying. So I asked him, yo, like, can you get Bodicea the Victoria's Faith? He was like, yo, let me reach out to my people over in Dubai and I hit you back. So about 10 minutes later, he hit me back. Yeah, I can get it. What's the price? Gave me the price. Let me get 2. Shot him the money. No problem. So a couple days go by, you know, he's like, all right, you know, as soon as I get everything, it's coming from Dubai, shoot your tracking numbers, whoop-de-whoop. Cool. So he shoot me some tracking numbers saying, yo, I got it. You know, matter of fact, I'll be coming down to Florida right after Thanksgiving because I got some meetings at the Millennium Mall because I'm buying out the House of Dubai and we're gonna open up a store in the Millennium Mall. I was like, all right, cool. So he was like, you know, I want you to come over there. We can meet up. You can meet, you know, with the contractors and all this other kind of shit, and you know, office personnel of, you know, the Millennium Mall and all this other shit. So I'm like, all right, bet. So time comes around and he hits me up, you know, Saturday night saying, all right, we're gonna meet up on Sunday. Okay. For those that know me, they know that my schedule is extremely busy, you know, in the line of work that I do. Extremely busy, 7 days a week. I'm glued to my phone. So for me to take time to stop what I'm doing to go over there and do what I need to do over there, it's just like that's a lot for me. So like we were supposed to meet at for brunch. We were supposed to meet for brunch around 11:30. His meeting, mind you, was supposed to be at 4 o'clock. So Saturday night, he's like, all right, find a brunch spot that we can go meet up, eat some brunch. You know, I'll bring the fragrances with me, the ones that I paid them for. I'll bring them with me because it was those 2 Bodicea Faith and 1 Bodicea Powerful. So shot him the money for everything. No questions asked. I'm just going off the strength of, okay, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't know you full of shit at this point. So when was this? Saturday night, he was just like, hey, you know, the flights, you know, it's hard, it's bad, you know, I'm kind of getting, you know, the run around on my flights or whatever. My wife booked me a car, so I'm gonna drive from Atlanta into Florida, into Orlando. So I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe you can't get a direct flight from wherever you at to fly directly into Orlando, but hey, whatever, you fly however you fly. So Saturday night, he tells me he having some problems. His wife got him an Airbnb in Jacksonville, so he's driving to Jacksonville. So I'm like, why was she? So I asked him, I said, yo, like, why did she book you an Airbnb in Jacksonville? If you're driving from Atlanta, that's 75 south to the turnpike. You don't got to be nowhere near Jacksonville in order to get here. But, you know, whatever, you know, it is what it is. So he's like, all right, I'm driving over there, you know, I'll get there and, you know, we'll meet tomorrow, whoop-de-whoop. Cool, no problem. Sunday rolls around. I go to meet him at the spot. So I don't hear from him, which I was like, interesting. So later on, maybe around 1 o'clock, he hits me up. Yo, I'm still in Atlanta. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm still in Atlanta. I couldn't get a flight out of here. And I'm like, nigga, didn't you just say you was driving and that you was on the road last night? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. He said, I got the fragrances with me. Oh, and also he said, that he had gotten an extra bottle of Dragon from Bodecia. And he was like, yo, if you like that, I'm going to give it to you off the strength. Cool. So he was like, well, I'm in Atlanta, so I'll FedEx you the fragrances. All right, whatever. Time goes by, I don't get a confirmation number. I finally get a confirmation number when he makes it back up to Pennsylvania. So he says he shipped the shit off to me, gave me a tracking number. Tracking number, for whatever reason, the package gets lost. All right, I get it. Holidays, shit happens or whatever. So days, weeks, probably maybe a week or two goes by. And it's like, oh, they found the fragrances. It got somebody didn't scan it. It's in Cleveland. They're going to scan it and send it on its way so you can get it. Did I get them? Nah. So I was like, all right, bro, you know what? Reorder the stuff if you can. And, just send me some new shit. Cool. All right. He still hold on to this money. So time goes on. Once again, yeah, I got them. And mind you, at this time, it's almost Christmas. So I had bought a bottle of Shabazz or whatever that shit is in the Thunder thing, because my daughter wanted a bottle of it for Christmas. So I was like, yo, give me the price. I want to buy it, whatever. Gave me the price, shot him the money immediately. He sent it over. First bottle was broken. Rattling around, just shitty packaging or whatever. Told him it's broken. He sends me another one. That shit came broken. So he sends me one on the third one. He ended up taking everything out the box, wrapping it separately, just so that way it can make it to me without breaking. So when he's getting ready to send it the third time, I'm like, yo, put all the other fragrances that you said came in, ship it all to me now, because I was going to give one of them as a gift. So he was like, all right, cool. I'm going to put it all in the box with the other joint that I bought from him, like the third joint that he sent to me. So I'm like, bet, send me tracking number for that. Cool. So the day later, I get another tracking number from FedEx, one from UPS, one from FedEx. So I'm like, damn, what's this other shit? So I reach out to him, yo, like, you send me something else from FedEx. Didn't say a word. So they both came at the same day. The UPS package that he sent that had the fragrance that I purchased from him as a Christmas gift for my daughter, where everything was supposed to be in the box, nothing was in the box but that one fragrance. And I was like, damn, bro, didn't you tell me you put all this shit in the same box with this fragrance? So that's another lie. So the FedEx box comes about 2 hours later. Heavy box. I'm like, all right, cool. This is it. I open the box up. It's a bunch of damn fragrances in there that I ain't even asked this motherfucker for. Some shit that I ain't gonna say the brand because he probably owe them niggas money too. So he sends me all this shit over here. So I'm like, bro, like, what you doing? Like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't even ask for this. Like, what is this? So he's like, oh, hold on, I'm in the mountains skiing or some shit, and I got an iPad. I'm like, who the fuck skis in the mountains with an iPad on? Whatever. So all this goes by, and it's like right before Christmas. I'm like, bro, you know what? You need to figure this out on how you're gonna figure it out, but you need to run my bread back. So he gave me the bread back. Cool. So later on, he comes to me, he's talking about all this other shit about, what he's doing. He got a $50 million loan. And he's about to buy out his business partner. I think his name was Jonathan or something like that. With Thana. Well, I'm gonna buy him out for, I don't know, he said $7 million. It was in the millions. So I'm like, oh, cool, bet. He's talking all this stuff about House of Dubai. All right. So he's like, all right, when he was talking about opening up the Florida store, I'm like, hey, you know what? If you need somebody to run that store, holler at me, holler at me. So he was like, all right, cool, yeah, we can make that happen, whoop-de-whoop. So later on, time goes by, he comes back to me, oh, I have another role for you. I'm like, okay. I don't want you to work for House to Dubai. I want you to work for me at BlvckAroma. I said, in what capacity? This dude said the COO. Okay. All right. COO. Okay. Mind you, he hadn't seen my resume yet, which I do have a great resume. He hasn't seen my resume yet, but okay. So I was like, all right, well, what does this pay? $250,000. Okay. I'm not moved by it. All right, cool. $250,000, cool. Whatever. All right, cool. So, time goes by and he sends over this contract or whatever it was, agreement or whatnot. And I look over it. Looked a little different, but okay. So, he's on this whole, spend time with your families, because from Christmas until January 20th, it's like, take that time to spend with your families, because, we're going to go on this retreat on the 20th, and he brought in some pastor dude or whatever, that he was going to come over and all this other extra stuff. So it's like, all right. So when so as all this stuff is transpiring, man, this dude talking about, tell your family and do this and do that and, all this other stuff going on. So I'm just like, all right. So I'm talking to my daughter in Atlanta, because he gives me the address to the corporate headquarters that he's already got a lease on in Atlanta. Now, mind you, he's calling me throughout this whole process, getting my input on so much stuff. So, the whole Atlanta thing came by me saying, yo, it don't make sense for Florida. It don't make sense for North Carolina. It don't make sense. All right, Atlanta would be good. A lot of y'all not.
I'm showing the property here just a moment.
All right.
I'm showing the property.
Like the minute I said, let's do it in Atlanta, a lot of y'all not. Less than 24 hours, that man sent me that right there, saying, all right, I got it on lockdown. My people over there in Atlanta, we set, this is where the office is going to be. I'm like, damn, this brother on it. So I'm hollering at my daughter, asking her about this particular location, because where it is, she lives in a high-rise building, literally a half a mile away from there. So she's like, Dad, like, you sure this ain't a scam? And I'm just like, I was like, baby, I said, I don't think it's a scam. I said, I know it sounds a little too good to be true. So for me, I'm gonna always give you the benefit of the doubt until otherwise. So I was giving him benefit of the doubt or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, all right, you know what? Let me play this real close to the vest and really see where this is gonna go before I really jump out here and, leave my position of what I got going on. To really, put all my stock and faith in this dude. So, it's just like this dude came with some of the most outlandish shit. And like I said, man, this whole thing ain't like, okay, we just gonna try and bash this dude, because that ain't what I'm doing. I'm just telling y'all my story. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling y'all my story on this guy and what went down. And as time, kept going by, I even threw a little breadcrumb out there just to see how he was gonna act. And I was just like, yo, like, bro, I left my job already. So he just kept it going, kept it going. Then we had a Zoom call like mid-January. And then that's when the lies of this $50 million started to unravel, because it started getting close to that 20th date. So he got us on a Zoom call, and it went from, I have $50 million to make all this happen, to, all right, I have a a loan on the table that I have to, you know, try to get approved. And this whole thing with Neiman's going bankrupt, the bank don't want to give me any money. And it's just like, bro, like Neiman's ain't got shit to do with your credit profile and, you know, your portfolio. Like, who gives a shit? Banks are in the business of loaning money. Just because one person defaults doesn't mean that they're going to stop loaning money to everybody. But, you know, he kept a lot going in regards to, you know, what he's doing. And okay, I'm about to go into a meeting with a bank. And mind you, this was like around 7 o'clock one night. He said that I'm going into a meeting with one of the representatives from another bank. Shit, y'all not. Walt was live, not even an hour later. This nigga in the comments.
No, actually, it was Jim's. It was Jim's. He was in Jim's live.
It was Jim. Oh, it was Jim's live.
Jim's live.
Whoever's live it was. This nigga was in the comments, bro. I was like, nigga, wasn't you supposed to be getting $50 million right now, but yet you got time to be on YouTube in the chat? Bet. So, you know, all this shit go on, and he's talking about, you know, with me, Walt, and Kev on this Zoom call. You know, I'll never mess with a man's money, his ministry, or his marriage. I'll never mess with those three things. I'll never do that. I mean, he just going on and on and on. You know, regardless if I get this money or not, you guys are good. You guys are good. If we have to do this with just the four of us, you guys are solid. Don't worry about nothing. Okay. All right. I'm just listening. We get off the phone. Immediately, Walt was like, y'all know it ain't no doomsday plan, right? So I'm just sitting up there and just like, all right, man, we just listening, and it's just like, okay. Then that's when a lot of the digging started happening. Like, all right, let's just really see what's going on with this dude, because yeah, this right here, and Walt even said, yo, if this shit turns out to be a scam, you know, this is gonna be one of the best damn Netflix documentaries. He gonna get 50 on the phone, stars. Bro, I'm to the point, bro, we can even put this shit on Tubi. Because like, we can't make this shit up. Like, that's the thing. We cannot make this up. It's like, I'm over here minding my black ass business, man. And then here you come bringing me your black ass business. Bro, nobody was looking for you. Nobody. We was over here doing our own thing, minding our business, and here you come with your bullshit. Nobody was looking for you, dude. And bro, I always have a situation, bro, and I caught heat for this last year for Black-Owned Fragrance Week. When I said, you know what? I don't rock with black brands because they black. I rock with you if you do good business. And unfortunately, a lot of us, people of color, we be on that bullshit. So I was already a little skeptical, but I was like, you know what? Let me just give this guy some grace. And maybe he can be the guy that's going to change my mind. And then look at this. He come pull this. So I'm just like, bro. And Corey, I know you watching this, bro. I know you are. And like I said, bro, this is no dig to you, but you did this shit to yourself. Nobody asked you to lie. Let me tell you how a good businessman handles his business, because you apparently don't know. Nigga, don't tell people you got some money if you ain't got shit. If you got a plan, say, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. This is what I'm thinking. And if, the key word is if, nigga, if the shit work out, this is how we gonna roll. Don't come up in here with all this shit talking about what you got. Bro, nobody gives a fuck, bro. Nobody. Nobody asked your black ass to come over here with this bullshit. Nobody. But you came over here with this shit, and bro, you don't know all the receipts we got on your dumb ass. The best thing for you to do, bro, is pack your shit, shut the fuck up, and go on about your business, dude. Because you ain't gonna win this war. You don't want the smoke. I promise you, you don't. Because the receipts they got over there, I don't have them. But the receipts that they got, bruh, exit stage left, go to TikTok, go do something else. Don't do that over here. I've seen the receipts they got. You don't want to do that. I'm telling you as a brother, don't do it to yourself.
And the receipts are coming. Don't worry. Y'all stick around. The receipts are coming. Y'all saw the size of the deck. The receipts are coming. All right. Just to fill in a few other things in between there. And some things I saw in the chat. One, the pastor, I'm not going to call his name, well-known pastor. I've met him before. I don't know him personally as far as, but if I needed to, there could be some conversations, 6 degrees of separation. But the pastor's not in on it. However, Corey did say at the time, because we didn't know Corey's age at the time, Corey said that was his line brother and they went to school together. Now, this pastor, if you're in the church community, you may know who I'm talking about, but this pastor is he's an alpha and he went to Princeton. I'm going to show you a little bit how, one, that doesn't make sense because this pastor is about 10 years older than Corey. All right. This pastor is about 10 years older than Corey. And I could not find any record of Corey, Keith, Corey, J. Keith, whatever. I could not find records of someone of that name in Pennsylvania being an alpha. If anybody is an alpha and you will have the ability to search the database even further, definitely, you're welcome to do that. But I couldn't find anything. All right. I'll even show here. Let me show this. I showed you all the supposed place that we were supposed to set up shop in Atlanta. You see here, this is a post that Corey had put on, I believe on Instagram, as far as what the office would look like as far as the layout of the space. Some of you may remember, if you were following Corey, he had a story one time where he was talking about he's honored to build with godly men, a business that's going to change fragrance, what have you. And he showed pictures of construction and what have you. Now, I also had turned in my resignation at in the appropriate time, because we were told, again, the 20th, we're all going to go to, I believe it was Washington. We're going to get together as men. We're going to hang out. We're going to get to know each other, because we needed to make sure, who my brother is on the left and the right. So all of this, again, sounds good from the aspect of, if I'm joining a company, if I'm going to be a C-suite executive, then yes, we do need to know how we operate, how we communicate. And there was even a time, Jason, you remember there was a time when we started to have this conversation about Corey seeming to go ghost. I'm bringing up, hey, listen, we need to learn each other's communication style, because at the end of the day, everybody communicates differently. And if we're going to work together as a team, we all need to know how to communicate, and we need to communicate well. To also piggyback on Jason, the offer was made, when the offer was made and everything, it was presented as if the $50 million had already been in place. The $50 million was already there. He told us in the conversation, I need you all to feel the weight of this with me. I need you all to feel the pressure of paying back that $50 million, which I'm cool. If the organization is going to live or die by the success of what's available and what we're doing, then yeah, I'm going to act as if $50 million is on the line, because I want this to succeed. So all of these things are happening as far as the offer. Now, when Jason's talking about it's starting to go left, and I'm just going to show you, there are some things here, because one of the things that, because I am currently not employed with my company anymore, I am currently now self-employed, looking for additional ways of income. Corey's statement to me, and I'll get more into this, Corey's statement to us was that because there is, you can see it here, I won't go all into it, but Corey mentioned, well, because I didn't sign the agreement. Remember that, Jason? Because he didn't sign the agreement, he's saying that the agreements don't carry any weight. All right. Now, here's the thing. To someone that doesn't have any legal background, you might think, well, yeah, he didn't sign it. It's not a duly signed document, what have you. However, there is this legal term called promissory estoppel, which basically means if there's enough communication, just to give you the layman's terms, if there's enough communication, enough of an expectation given, and there's a reliance upon that expectation, and then you don't follow through with the expectation as far as what was put out there, then you are potentially responsible for the harm that you've caused. So when Corey says that, that's a clue right there that Corey ain't talked to no attorney, because my limited legal knowledge, I'm not a lawyer, I don't even play one on TV, but my limited legal knowledge and the access that I have to legal minds, immediately when I'm telling the story, they're like, something ain't making sense. So understand that I'm jumping ahead a little bit. There are some things that are happening right now. Corey has a demand letter from me because, as Jason kind of alluded to, one of the things that Corey did say, and I've got some receipts as far as screenshots, where Corey said that if all of this doesn't go the way it needs to, as far as the whole plan, he said, here's my doomsday plan, which is why we've titled this Doomsday, right? He said that if I need to give you all each 100,000 just because I took up your time, I'll do that. So at this point, we're still all like, okay, we want this to succeed, because we're all looking at this like, this sounds good as far as the goal of what he wants to do with fragrances. But if it comes down to 100,000, cool. When all of this starts to go left, and then we're told, because the statement was he needed $15 million more in assets, and he was working with some financial people to get that additional $15 million so that Deutsche Bank would sign off on the loan. We went from the loan is there, we need to feel the weight of the loan, to I'm still trying to get the loan. Okay. When we get to that Wednesday, we get a email, and let me pull this up, not an email, but we get a text. We get a text that basically says, and I'll do it over here. I don't know if you can see it that well, but it basically is, after consultation, it basically is ChatGPT. He tries to tie it to Saks Global filing bankruptcy, and he basically is like, we're going to go ahead and do a pause until June. So at this point, because we've had the conversation, and from that conversation, initially it was, even if the loan doesn't come through, we're going to go ahead and push forward together. Now we're asking questions of, what does that mean for this now being able to go through, right? For us to be able to move forward as the four of us with this thing. All of a sudden now, my attorneys say, because I didn't sign the agreement, that I don't have to worry about it. But I don't get down like that. I'm going to figure it out, right, Jason? He's telling us all these things.
And then he said he was meeting with his attorneys because he signed 8 leases to open stores in Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, Vegas, San Francisco, and then he was taking over some shit in, I think, those House of Dubai stores in Chicago. And then the headquarter office in Atlanta that he signed a lease on. So it's like, why the hell would you sign 8 leases, bro, if you ain't got no money? Make it make sense to me.
So that's where things start to go left. So let's get to the reality. So I'm going to show you, because now I'm looking at Corey. And yes, I did a search of Corey beforehand, couldn't really find anything on him, but Corey presented to Walt, and Walt can confirm this. He presented to Walt that he had been a VP at Saks, I believe it was. Jason, I don't know if you remember or heard that. He was a VP at Saks.
Yeah, VP at Saks and all that other shit. And yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he was VP at Saks, and all of these things that he made. He was on track to make $6 million as far as 2025, what have you. All right. So let's kind of go through who Corey actually is. All right. Let's start here. And remember, I told you that, let me see if it will show this. Did I stop sharing? Okay, sorry. Remember, I told you that a couple of things is that we have the give me just a second. We have the different names. So I was not making that up. Let me share this tab right here. Now, I want you to notice this is not a ChatGPT document, and let me get it up there just to make sure you all see it. This is not a ChatGPT document. This is from the First Judicial District of Pennsylvania, a court summary. So this is available as far as the court records for the state of Pennsylvania. This is information that you can publicly access. You can take this, this number right here, put it into the appropriate search field on the court records for the state of Pennsylvania. You will come up with this document. What we have here is Keith J. Corey, aliases Corey Keith, Keith Corey, Keith J. Corey. Sounds like we're talking about the same person and this date of birth. I can tell you that this date of birth matches the other information that I have for Corey. Let's see if we can enlarge it just a little bit. There we go. So that you all can see that. So we have Corey. In fact, that I'm not going to release the address, but I can tell you that that city and state and zip code match. All right. So let's see what has been adjudicated. The arrest happened on January 4th, 2023. Defense attorney, he had a defense attorney. Last action date was 12/2023. Let's look at the statutes. We have identity theft, unlawful use of a computer, access to disrupt function, tamper with public record or information, impersonating a public servant, unlawful transmission of email, use computer, forge, falsify, and 2 other accounts, it looks like, of identity theft. Now, I'll tell you what the disposition means here in just a moment. All right. I already got it, Joel. I already have it. Don't worry. It's already taken care of. And those that need it, have it already. All right. So it was closed out. Now, what this ARD means now, as far as just to, again, in all fairness, looking at what we've got here, ARD County, looks like the unlawful transmission of email, use of computer, forge and falsify, that charge was quashed. So that's not something that necessarily was gone through, but we do have all of these things that are ARD. Now, what ARD means for the state of Pennsylvania, ARD is basically it's a diversionary program, which basically for first-time non-violent offenders. It basically is like you pay a fine, you're on probation for a while, and then if you successfully complete that, you're good to go, right? In some cases, you could even try and get it to be what's the word? Basically to be removed or I forget what the word is, but basically so that it's kind of not there anymore, right? However, we have the information here. So that's this record here. Let's go here. I think this is the other one. So again, just to show you, let's share this tab now. So let's make this. This is the same thing. This is just the criminal docket. This is a little more information. We have, again, the arresting agency was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia PD, and all of the information there. As of 12/2023, it was awaiting completion of the ARD program. Again, here's our same arrest date. Here's the complaint date. Here is all of the calendar events that happened for this particular case. I want to get down to where we can see proceed to court, information's filed, proceed to court, ARD County open, what have you. Now, this 18 months is basically the amount of time that basically was under supervision or probation, whatever it may be. So for 18 months, let's do the math. This was 12/20 of 2023. Walt tells us that Corey began to reach out to him around July, August of 2025. So that's approximately 18 months. I don't think I have it for right now, but the start date of BlvckAroma was earlier in 2025, like around June, July, somewhere in there. So it looks as if, and again, this is allegedly, but it looks as if Corey basically got off probation. As far as what I'm reading this and understanding this, looks like he got off probation and then went back to basically doing some other things. So we have all of these things here. So that's where that is. So as far as being a VP of Saks Fifth Avenue, my personal opinion, you make your own determination, you form your own opinion. My personal opinion is that that is cap. That is not true. All right. Now, but what do we have here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here's another one. Arrest date went, whoa. Let's get that really big here. January 24th, 2026. Like 2 weeks ago. Oh my. We have bail. What we have now is receiving stolen property and retail theft under ring. Now, let me just make it very clear. This is a record of what he was arrested for. I'm not saying that he's guilty. I can't say that he's guilty. This is just simply a statement of the fact that this is what Corey Keith, aka Keith Corey, aka all of that, the owner of BlvckAroma Distribution, this is what he was arrested for. This is a statement of fact, is that he was arrested for. Is he guilty of these things? I cannot say. I will not say. I don't know. That has not been adjudicated yet. All right. But we look there, bail is done. So those are two things. Now, just receiving stolen property, I think many of us understand what that is. I think many of us get what that is as far as what that would be. Retail theft under ring, to just kind of put it in layman's terms, or what we might equate to popping tags, is kind of what that is. That basically is going to Walmart, not saying that it was at Walmart, but going to Walmart and scanning a candy bar, but trying to walk out with a stereo. Okay. That's what retail theft under ring would be. All right. So here's why today is really interesting and important. First of all, today was the day that I was supposed to start with BlvckAroma. My start date on my contract is today's date, February 10th. But something else also happened today. Today, on February 10th, was a preliminary hearing. Now, the schedule of that, or the status of that, it was continued. So he now has a new date of March 17th. Okay. So again, these are all things there that we have for Corey as far as where things are now. But let's go back a little further. Let's go back a little further as far as, and did I show you all that date? I'm sorry. If I didn't show you that, let me get, yeah. All right. So let's now go to, let me make sure I have the other information. And just so you can see, I'm gonna share this tab just so you can see, this is the website that I'll go to where you can find that information. I've got that docket number there. You see that information there. So this is not Kevin making up something on ChatGPT. This is simply me going and using the system of public records to find the information that I now know where to look. All right. But let's go back and let's look at who Corey was maybe growing up. All right. Let's go to, yep, let's go to this tab right here. So we've got an old Facebook tab or Facebook page for Corey Keith.
I don't care if you got all this shit.
Listen. Listen. Listen.
Man, this is crazy. I didn't know you did all.
Oh, it's about to get even more fun. So this is Corey Keith as a youngster. This is him as of 2011. In fact, let's go ahead and look. Is that's you, Corey? Hi, Corey. Good to see you, Corey.
Wow.
So this is Corey in 2011. Now, if you remember on that document, the birthday was 1990. Whatever date it was, 1990. So that would make Corey at this time around 2021. Let's look at how that would make him about 21 years of age. Let's look at how a 21-year-old communicates. Naima Price doesn't support my music or singing. I think she is a hater. You're not supportive, SMH. My mom warned me about you. I'm tired. This is not a battle for Obama. This is a battle for my mama, Al Shapard. I don't know who that is. All right. But this is Corey. He's in this picture. I'm not going to enlarge it, but he's in that picture somewhere. This is our friend, Corey Keith. All right. Now, remember, the pastor that I told you that Corey said was his line brother and went to school with, that pastor went to Princeton. Corey went to Clarion University of Pennsylvania and Delaware Valley Charter. let's look at what Delaware Valley Charter is. Let's take a look at Delaware Valley Charter. Let's go to this tab. So we've got a Wikipedia page, public information. Now, Delaware Valley High School, for-profit company, private school operating, all that fun stuff. So we're talking about in the Philadelphia area. But here's what we have to understand. Corey was at the time of the Facebook posting, it was 2011, all right? So let's look at the history of the school. The school was first established as a for-profit private school in 1969. First campus was in northeastern Philadelphia. It offered class credit to students from area high schools who had difficulty in school. Oh, the schools which these students attended included Lincoln High School and George Washington High School. Here we go. Beginning around 2002, the School District of Philadelphia began contracting with DVHS. Districts send students at risk of dropping out and students with discipline problems to DVHS high schools. Corey, did you have problems in high school? Were you at risk, Corey? Did you continue that at-risk behavior, Corey? Is that why you are doing what you're doing, Corey? Is that because you are continuing the at-risk behavior that your school helped with or tried to help with? Oh my, Corey. But that's what we have so far. Let's go back because there's other websites that relate to Corey. Let's go to this one. Now, this one here, there's our friend Corey. That's Corey. In case you didn't know what he looked like, that's Corey. All right. But now, admittedly, this is not a website or a Facebook page, I should say, that Corey created. This is one that it seems like someone who's a little miffed at Corey, they created back as of June 2024. So before any of this thing happened with Walt, any of this thing happened with us in fragrance community, let's see what someone who was upset enough with Corey that they went and created a Facebook page. Let's see what they had to say. This is, and I can't vouch for this as far as truth, but I'm just going to say what this person put. They say he never finished college and he does not work on Wall Street. Corey, were you telling people that you worked on Wall Street? Says he has a 10-year-old daughter who has a very active, into sports lifestyle. He is very convincing and very manipulative. Do not trust anything he says. He is a pathological liar. That is not me making a statement of fact. That is simply me reading what is here before us. Here's something else that I find interesting about this. We look at the comments. Tyler here, I don't know who Tyler is, but she's trying to figure out if they're talking about the same person. She says, is this wait, how is that spelled? Isn't that spelled very familiarly to BlvckAroma, Blvck Intelligence, Black Brief, Black whatever? So they also put, please be aware of this man. He is preying on women and stealing the money. He will give you a bad check so quick. Now, we can take this with a grain of salt, or what I'm doing, you're free to make your own choice, your own decision. I'm taking all of this information and saying, wow, good job, Corey. Wow. All right. Now, one of the other things that's interesting is Corey stated that he would never, and here's why for me, this is business, but this is personal too. Because Jason, you can attest to the fact when we were having the conversation, the four of us, me, you, Walt, and Corey, had a conversation where we were talking through, he showed us the PowerPoint of our C-suite level. He showed us the PowerPoint of those that would be reporting to us. He's saying, I'm pulling this person from so-and-so, I'm pulling this person from so-and-so. And afterwards, I was like, because the way my wife and I operate, the way we do life, my wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. I don't make decisions without her input, without her connection, without her basically being involved with it. Because if it's going to impact her, I'm going to make decisions, yes, that we can move forward with, but I want her involved in at least some of those decisions. So after that meeting with the four of us, my wife had just come in and I said, hey, Corey, do you have time? I want my wife to meet you. I want us to have a conversation because I need her to feel comfortable with this as well. All right. In fact, let me remove this so you can all see my face. All right, because I want you all to see. So this man was on live with me and my wife. And he gave us the same thing. I don't mess with a man's manhood, his ministry, or his marriage. What's interesting is that it seems as if all three of those are things that Corey is lacking. Yes, I'm saying your manhood. I question your manhood, not your gender. I question your ability to operate as a man of integrity and honor. I can't find records of you being married. I see, and we'll show that. I see where you are getting married if you can get out of the country. I don't know how Pennsylvania works. If you're under, if you're under indictment or whatever it may be, I don't know if you can leave the country, but you have a wedding coming up supposedly. And we'll talk about Rachel in a moment. We'll talk about Rachel here. So I question your manhood. You don't have ministry, and you don't have a marriage. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Let's jump back into it. You good, Jason?
Bro, I'm just digesting this last. Yeah, bro. I didn't know all this Facebook stuff that you. Yeah, bro. I didn't know you had all that stuff going on, man. Bro, this is crazy. Like this stuff you pulling up, bro. Like I ain't know you had that. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds like you got a whole lot more that I don't know about. But yo, this is crazy. But my biggest thing is this, man. Like serious business, man. And this is serious. Like, this man left his job. This man quit his job. All because of the lies that this dude was spewing out there. So you've taken money out of this man's house. You've taken away the way that this man will provide for his family. I understand God will provide. I get it. You know what I'm saying? God will provide for his people. But here it is. You lied about all this stuff, and that man left his job, took money out of this man's house on how he provides for his family. And you want to act like you the victim. Like, bro, like, honestly, like, I really don't care about all this stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't, in a sense, because one thing about me, if I'm done with something, I'm just done with it. I'll deal with it. I process it. And after I say, okay, this is what it is, and I accept it, then I move on. But it's hard for me to move on from it on your side, Kev, because you lost your sense of stability in how you feed your family. And that is something that I don't take lightly. I don't. This man had a conversation with your wife.
My wife.
You know what I'm saying? This man had a conversation with your wife, telling her all of this stuff, dude. So it's just like, bro, like, how can you sleep at night? And now you want to sit there and act like you're the victim. That's the shit that just like really blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude unblocked me off of every form of whatever pages that he got going on. Like I've done something to him. And that's the way he's acting. He's acting like we've done him wrong and we're out to get him. Apparently, from all the stuff that I've seen tonight, that this dude has a very bad character and morality flaw. It's a disease. And I'm going to pray for this brother because he needs it. He really does. And the thing about a sickness is sometimes people don't really understand that they're sick. And this is sick behavior, man. For you to act like this and then you want to act like we've done you wrong. Nobody was looking for you. I wasn't looking for him. You weren't looking for him.
Correct.
I don't think Walt was even looking for him. Nobody asked you for any of this. But now you want to cry like you're the victim and that people are out to get you.
Yep.
Bro, we are three little YouTubers in the fragrance space.
Who do this just because we love fragrance.
Right. Brother, from my understanding and for what I know of the people that's looking for you, we're the last three you need to be worried about right now. You have multi-million-dollar corporations that's trying to find you, bro. We are the last ones you need to be thinking about. I don't appreciate the fact, man, that this man took food off your table, bro. Like that right there, bro, I don't take lightly. He took food off your table. Damn, it took food off my table. If it would have took food off my table, Kev, you know, God's still working on me, bro. Look, God's still working on me. You know what I mean? The Most High, Lord, you know, bro. That man would took food off my table, bro. I promise you, bro. All of my dresses that you got, I would have showed up at the doorstep of every one of them, because he would have had to see me about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't make, you know, small pocket change. So for you to take that away from me and my family, yeah, dog. Yeah, trust me. I wouldn't have been by myself when I came to see you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't let me being a professional fool you. Bro, I'm from Louisiana, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the dirty South, dog. I'm from the boot. We don't play like that. Games like this, dude, where I'm from, bro, that shit'll get you killed, bro. You gotta watch who you play with. You play with the wrong one, dude. I'm telling you, man, it ain't gonna end up good for you. It's just the fact that now we grown and we know how to conduct ourselves in the right way. But don't get it twisted, dude. I still got that side in me, dude. You just got lucky that it didn't cost me nothing. That's the only thing. So, bro, this is crazy, bro.
And Corey knows, because he's received a letter, and I'll talk about that in a moment, that we still got conversations. But let's talk about Corey, right? Again, Jason alluded to, there's a wedding that's supposed to be taking place. Let's look at the pictures for that wedding. Let's go there. Corey, is this you? Rachel and Corey? Supposed to get married on the 20th? Las Terrenas, Dominican Republic. Are you going to make that trip? But here's a question I got. Now, Jason, you married, right?
Yeah.
Did you do like engagement photos or anything?
Did I do them?
Yeah. Did you all take engagement photos?
Nah.
But you did wedding photos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I didn't do engagement photos. That wasn't necessarily a thing when I got married nearly 30 years ago. But if I were getting married now, is this the picture? Let me get there. Is this the picture that I would put to represent my love?
I know you didn't, though.
Is this the picture that I would do to represent?
Oh man, this is insane.
My
bro. No,
everlasting love and affection. A shiesty mask. And again, I'm gonna back out just so you can see.
This is insane.
This is on the knot. This is
dude I'm pulled out.
This is here.
Everything. This is crazy.
We got their wedding date. But in all honesty, I don't know if this wedding is going to happen, because Rachel, the thing about Rachel, and I don't know, you know, Rachel is she is a organizer of BlvckAroma, which means that technically Rachel's partly responsible for everything that happens with BlvckAroma as well. Now, Jason, you're in real estate, right?
Right.
As far as an industry. Now, I know how it is in Arizona, you know, because and actually in Oklahoma, because I was thinking about doing real estate license. Is it in your state? Is it like where if there is the potential, if there is fraud or deceptive behavior, would that be a reason that you might lose your license?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's one profession that if, let's say, there were fraudulent behavior, that licenses could be pulled. Other what occupations, other professions that might do that, you know, we might be talking not just real estate, but I would imagine doctors, nurses, travel nurses. You get what I'm saying, Corey? So does Rachel know what's happening? And again, let me just say this really quick. I wouldn't bring Rachel into this just on a, you know, man-to-man type thing. But you sat with my wife and lied to my wife. So Rachel may be game for me to at least have some conversations with Rachel. And here's the thing. Again, I don't know that the wedding is happening because the way I'm reading Rachel's Instagram, Corey, you got scrubbed from that. You're no longer on her Instagram, Corey. She used to be
on Instagram.
Oh yeah, she used to be Miss BlvckAroma. Now she's let's see if we got.
Nah, man, don't put her IG up.
I'm not gonna put her out there.
Yeah, don't do that, man.
I won't do that. But she used to be Miss BlvckAroma. She's no longer Miss BlvckAroma. She's got her own IG now. But Corey, those pictures that I was able to see of you and her at dinner looking all nice and lovely and all of that, I don't see those anymore. And her stories are about needing to find someone that loves her properly and all that stuff. Corey, are you still with Rachel? And so the question comes now, because I can't find record of you and Rachel being married, that might mean that spousal, what is the word? Spousal privilege doesn't apply. Could Rachel maybe be a witness instead?
Damn.
Because here's the thing that I'm looking at. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV. I don't play one on YouTube. But my understanding of things is this, is that because she's an organizer of the business, anything that happens with the business, she also bears some responsibility. And because she also could bear some responsibility, let me say it that way, she could also bear some responsibility. If that's the case, and Rachel didn't know all of this going on, does Rachel maybe know some things that might be useful for criminal or civil? I don't know. I can't speculate other than just a quick speculation. I don't know. But it'd be an interesting conversation to have and see, since she's not covered by spousal privilege if you all aren't married. And if she is married to you and spousal privilege does apply, it does mean that it's possible that Rachel's license for whatever she were to do might fall into jeopardy as well because of behavior. Let me also say this. You've threatened Walt with the lawsuit that was a ChatGPT thing. In fact, when I sent you my demand letter, because I've sent him a demand letter, because based upon the conversation that we had where Corey said that he would pay us $100,000, and we are now asking for where is that money? Because, as has been mentioned, I'm currently self-employed. I'm not going to claim unemployed. I'm self-employed, growing my income. Because of that, I've asked where that $100,000 is. But because I don't believe you have the money that you say you have, I now have lots of reasons to believe that you don't have, or that you didn't make the $3 million or $6 million that you say you made last year. I'm gonna let you all know what I did. We sent a demand letter to Corey, and with that demand letter, I simply said, pay me 3 months' salary at the salary that I was making before. So that's basically coming out to about 24, 25, somewhere in that 1,000 that we're asking for. Now, Jason, you're good at math too. If you're being sued potentially, or there's the potential of a suit for $100,000. But I'm simply saying, let's handle this amicably. Let's handle this man to man, wipe our hands, be done. If someone said, just send me 25, would you potentially take that and say, here, let's just be done with it and we're good?
Hell yeah, say less. Shit, you would have had that 25 in about 25 minutes. That's it. Shit.
Even let's say maybe you're like, no, I'm right, he's wrong. You would have your attorney respond. You wouldn't send a ChatGPT letter to me 12 minutes after I sent you the demand letter. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Damn, 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Damn.
So you see, last week, February 3rd, at 8:10 a.m., I sent him, this is the demand letter. 12 minutes later, Corey sends me this. And I won't dignify it. It basically is a ChatGPT. In fact, I put it into an AI tool to basically see if it was ChatGPT. It said it was 100% AI. But what's funny is that Corey called me shortly after getting that email, and basically is like, hey, what did he basically was like, hey, just for what, laughs and giggles, whatever, I'm going to respond. I'm at my attorney's right now handling some other stuff, but what you sent me, normally it's sent through an attorney, which yes, however, it does not have to be sent by an attorney. It can be drawn up and then sent from myself. He's like, but I'm just going to respond to it. Cool. He responds, and again, 100% ChatGPT, because he even tried to quote a legal case in there. Now, let me just draw you the picture. I'm not going to show you the letter, but let me just draw you the picture. My letter had case law. My letter had case law for the state of Arizona. He wants to say, well, that doesn't apply to me because you live in Arizona. I don't live in Arizona. Cool, Corey. If we need to take it to Pennsylvania, we can take it to Pennsylvania. Or if because of the number of people that there may be some allegations concerning you, if we need to take that maybe to a different level, federal maybe, if that's what you want. In fact, let me.
I tried to be nice.
Yeah, I tried. I tried. But here's the thing.
Dude, it's crazy.
That 21st date of February, that's an actual date, Corey. After that, I'm not saying anything maybe public again, but that date of the 21st, yeah. And here's the thing. I'll even say this, Corey. I don't want you to. I want you to feel comfortable, because if nothing happens on the 22nd, start to relax a little. Go ahead. It's good. If nothing happens on the 23rd, relax. But I do know when my statute of limitations run out. I know with everything that I need to know, I know when they run out. So feel comfortable, Corey. But here's the thing. Again, I don't believe you have any of the money you say you have. In fact, what's this I hear about today that someone reached out to you, not knowing all of this is going on, not knowing all of this is happening, and they reached out because it was $1,000 worth of product. You couldn't even get that to them. I'm self-employed right now. If my character was on the line, if my integrity were on the line, and I needed to get someone $1,000, I'd figure out a way. If I got to do a cash advance off a credit card, I'd figure out a way, because that's the integral part of what I would want to do. But you couldn't get $1,000 together, Corey? That's interesting. That's interesting. Let me make sure I've got nothing else here. Let me see if I've got anything else. Oh, someone did want to go through our story. We can just take a look at that real quick. It all started with a simple conversation, one that neither of us expected would change everything. Yep. Corey was ambition in motion, a visionary with a plan, a sharp wit, and a heart bigger than he'd ever admit. Rachel brought balance, grounded in compassion, with a spirit that could calm storms, and a laugh that felt like home. What began as two paths crossing soon became something neither of us could imagine life without. This might need to be updated. Says we built business, a home, and a future hand in hand, rooted in faith, love, and a shared vision. Together we've learned real love. All right, so on. So February 20th. We'll see. But now, yes, Corey has blocked me on everything. It's okay. But let me just, I'm going to wrap up here. We'll jump into the chat for just a moment. I know y'all been going crazy in there. Make sure if you haven't hit that like button already, hit that like. But I want to address really quick from the spiritual aspect, right? Again, this is not going to be Bible study. I'm not doing that. But many of you know I have a background in ministry. My wife and I have been in ministry for even longer than we've been married. So over 30 years in some way, shape, or form. The reason why Corey needs to be really careful, and this is, I don't intend this as a threat. This is simply an observation from my years of ministry experience, my years of talking with other pastors, other leaders about things that they've had happen to them, where there was a need for what we would call recompense. And recompense is basically God's justice. Because Corey kept using God's name essentially in vain. God gave me this plan. God is causing us to do this. God is in this. God, all of this. He kept saying, I want to build this with three additional men who are in the faith, who are solid, who are believers, all of that stuff. I'm questioning whether or not Corey is a believer. I can't say that. I have no ability nor authority to say that he's not, but I'm simply saying if he is, he's a very immature believer. But here's the thing that Corey needs to understand, that when God gets justice, I don't have to worry about justice from the court system. We'll worry about that ourselves, right? But when God gets justice, it's not ever really pretty. So I'm simply saying this. If I were Corey, I would make it right on every avenue that I could. Because when God decides what he's going to do, I can't stand in the gap for you. Jason's at a point where he's praying for you. I'm working to get there. I'm working to get there. But until I get there, if I were you, Corey, I'd do whatever I needed to do to make every situation right. Because you're the one that threw God into the situation that we didn't come looking to you for. You're the one who put God into all of this. And so God is bound by his name and by his word to make sure that his name is not destroyed, and make sure that his name is not taken for granted, and make sure that his name is not sullied. So recompense, Corey, not a threat from Kevin. It's just simply a heads up. Get it figured out, or God will. All right. That's it. Jason, do you have anything else?
Man, this was a lot. This was a lot. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that you put out there I had no idea about. Again, man, like, it's not cool to sit there and try and con innocent people. Like, I don't understand what the motive was behind it. I don't understand it. I don't know what he was trying to get out of this. I don't know. Like, it just makes me think sometimes, like, what was your ultimate plan? Was your ultimate plan and I think I mentioned this before, that if you would have gotten your hands on this money,
yeah,
what would have happened is you would have started all of this stuff, put us in these positions, and you would have took all that money and ran your ass off with it and left us standing there holding the bag. Because the minute that it all goes wrong, then what? Okay, well, you the CEO of the company. You hold this position in the company. You hold that in position of the company. What do you mean you don't know where our money is?
That's our speculation. The speculation that we have is also that it may have not have been, of course, it wasn't for that 50. And here's the other thing. Let me say this also. Corey, you might want to make sure you hold on to all the records that show that you applied for a $50 million loan with Deutsche Bank. You may want to hold on to all the communication that you had with your loan representative that says that you were approved or basically pre-approved. You just needed to get this and that taken care of. I would recommend holding on to all of those things, because if you ever get pulled into court and you can't document those things, you can't bring those things forward, that's not going to look good. That's not going to look good. Judge Judy would look at you crazy. So we're not talking Judge Judy now. We're talking the state of Pennsylvania. And that ARD program, the way I read that, I don't know for sure, but the way I read that is that was a one-time thing. Anything else may carry some time, may carry some weight. So, but Corey, hold on to all your documents. Hold on to everything you have that shows everything that we've discussed here, everything that you alleged, everything that you stated that you had as far as working, all those leases that you signed. I would have those records and recognize that people could call. So if you have those records, and let's say you just created and what have you, that space in Atlanta that we were supposed to have our headquarters at, they should have record of it. Oh yeah, he signed that lease on this date. Here's our copy. Because it won't look good if you don't have that, Corey. Just my thought.
Well, there wasn't no lease in the Millennium Mall.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't no lease because he said that he was taking over like an American Eagle store that's next to the Apple store in the Millennium Mall. Little, I went in and, I talked to the manager of the store and said, hey, you guys moving up out of here? They're like, no, we solid. I was like, oh, I heard that you guys were going to be getting up out of here, because there was going to be another store opening here, first quarter of 2026. They was like, nah, we good. We ain't going nowhere. I don't know where you got that from, but whoever said that gave you some wrong information. So, that's the thing, man. Like I said, I'm more upset, man, for you, Kev, because, you know what I'm saying? For, you lost income.
Mm-hmm.
And this man had a conversation with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And lied to your wife like it was nothing.
Yep.
That's where, for me, it really pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For me, I don't know why liars lie. I don't try to figure out why they lie. But Corey, like I said, bro, I know you're gonna see this, man. For real, bro. And this is brother to brother, man to man, black man to black man. And that's with an A, not with a V. This is with an A. Brother, you gotta do better.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this to your own people, man, is crazy work. Doing it to anybody is crazy work. But here it is, man. You're coming into a situation, into a space to where we're already looked at in a bad light sometimes anyway, and we don't get the just due that other people in this business gets. But then you come in and you pull all this stuff. you make it harder for the people that really want to do things the right way to get an opportunity, because you've come in and you've made the opportunity for others tainted and it's dirty. So you just have to do better. If you're capable of doing better, cool. If you're not capable of doing better, hey man, that's between you and God. May he have mercy on you when that day comes, because it will come. It will.
Facts.
So I don't know if you're gonna sit up here and act like somebody's slandering your name or whatever. This man pulled public records. Everything that he pulled out there and he put on this live stream tonight was public record. The story I shared here with you with everybody today is factual information.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no reason to lie to nobody. I don't. You know, I don't give a damn about free PR and all this other shit. And bro, like, in this crazy work, man, that you sitting up here asking for people to return PR to you is crazy. You asking people to send back shit you sent them for free. That is insanity. But
Crazy
yet you bang on somebody else in this community, which I'm not gonna say his name, but you bang on somebody else in this community because they asked you if they can send back something to get something else that they like. So you shit all over that person, but yet here it is, when things don't go right and you got to pick up your ball and go home, now you want to ask for all your stuff back. Well, give me this back since it ain't gonna work out. Give me that. I want it back. Like, bro, seriously, man, nobody wronged you. Nobody.
Mm-mm.
You came over here with your smiles and miles and bags of lies. Nobody asked you to do those things. So I'm not understanding, in a sense of, why are you playing victim when you're the perpetrator the whole time? You came in as a wolf in sheep's clothing, but you don't understand that you're messing around with grizzly bears now. You picked the wrong ones to do it with. And that man sitting right there with those glasses on, that man got your number. And that man pulled every receipt that you didn't think that man can pull. And I'm sure he's got more that he just hasn't shared with you, because nobody will always give you all their cards. Nobody. So I'm just to the point where I'm just not quite understanding the angle and the whys, but that's not for me to understand. Because you're going to have to stand before God at some point in your life, and you're going to have to answer to all of this of what you're doing right now. You're going to have to answer for all that and give an account for that. But you can make it right. I don't want a dime from you, personally. I don't want nothing from you. So let's get that straight right now. I don't want anything from Corey Keith Murray, whatever name you want to go by. I don't want anything from you. But that man right there, that you took money out of his family's household because you lied, you need to do right by that man. That's who you need to do right by, Corey. Do right by that man, that you made those lies seem so believable that that man put his faith in what you said,
Mm-hmm.
and left his job for something that you was blowing smoke up everybody's ass the whole time. You brought God into it, brother. You did that. So now you're going to have to deal with it then. And however that comes back on you, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with Kev. That ain't got nothing to do with Walt and nobody else that you put these opportunities in front of. Because this is just us. We don't know who else has been affected by this situation. We don't know.
But I know some names.
Uh-oh. See, he knows some names. All right. So
and they keep coming.
more.
They keep coming. And who's to say? Because one of the things about this, and one of the reasons I felt I needed to do this, is because one of the things that happens sometime is people kind of keep things secret. Now, in all honesty, I was like, man, I feel embarrassed. But here's the thing. Who else might be in a similar situation or might find themselves looking for information on Corey Keith Corey, what have you? So one, this video stands as a record. And yes, I've already started doing the things within a YouTube video to try and make sure that anytime anybody searches for Corey Keith, hi, Corey. So therefore, anytime someone looks for him, this information is there because there was things that were not readily found. The other thing is that I want to make sure that people who may have experienced, because I actually just heard from another perfumer last night who was like, he just didn't know how to approach it or address it because he didn't know kind of all the ins and outs. Here's the thing. This is a place right now, the weekly blend. What I'm doing with this, what I wanted to do with this was basically put this so that everybody kind of knew what the baseline was as far as the information. And then that way they could operate with what they need to operate, because I know of at least 2 other perfumers right now. I've heard stories allegedly, let me just say allegedly, about stores. I've heard some other things. So at the end of the day, it's out in the open. It's out there public now, so that no one can say, or no one who's looking can say, I didn't find anything. My hope is that they'll at least find this. Yes, it's an hour and almost 2-hour watch. You're going to get the gist of it probably around the first 30 minutes. And also, let me just throw this out there. For those that were, my wife is okay. My wife is in my corner. My wife has got my back. I got a good wife. My wife is solid. She's actually even helping me. In fact, I'll be on Thursday. We're going to do a live for Valentine's Day. So my wife will join me for that. Y'all come and support that. We're going to get back to talking perfume, but I did want to make sure we covered this and talked about this as well.
Well, I mean, this was a lot. This was a lot. I was not expecting to hear a lot of the stuff that I heard. And just hearing more, and it just makes it that much more heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does. I just don't know how a person can sleep at night, man. But when you have no conscience, when you have no morals, and you have no character, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I just don't understand, bro. I just don't understand. For anybody else out there, man, if y'all feel y'all need to get it off, hey, holla at Kev, man. Holla at Kev. Y'all feel y'all want to get it off, but
yes, sir.
This is crazy, bro. I mean, but I'm glad to hear that you're doing okay, man. Seriously, real talk. I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that your wife, is okay, and she's in your corner, man. So shout out to the missus for that, standing, by you and supporting you and holding you up in this time, bro. That says a lot.
Yeah.
And Corey, bro, I hope your woman leaves you, man. For real. I hope she leaves. Because she deserves better. I don't know her. Hey, for all I know, bro, she can be your accomplice for all I know, man. So let me not say she deserves better.
Yeah.
Let me not say that. Because I don't know her from a can of paint. But everybody, this is something that, we've been holding on to for a while now. And I'm just glad that, the truth is out there. So that way, if anybody else were to come across this guy,
exactly,
this is something that can help other people to stop from being scammed taken advantage of, and just done absolutely wrong and dirty.
Yep.
Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked you for anything. Nobody was writing you and sending you emails saying, "Hey man, I want to be part of the BlvckAroma team, man. Send me some fragrances, man." No. I never asked you for shit. Even when it came time for me to want to get stuff, what did I do? Ask you, how much does it cost? And I never once asked you for a discount on the price. You want to know why? FragCom is a business. This is the key word right here, brother. Business. I understand the business from the personal. But you take this part of it and you've made it a dirty word, brother. You've made it a dirty word. So with that being said, Corey, God bless you, my friend. Don't text my phone. Don't email me. Don't try to find me on social media. Don't send a pigeon with a note tied around his foot. Nothing. Because I'm telling you now, as far as I'm concerned, for me, I'm good. I don't want nothing to do with you. We ain't got nothing to talk about. So I don't need no chat GPT stuff coming to me, no AI generated stuff, Etch-a-Sketch. I don't need none of that. The Soul Train Scramble Board, I don't need you putting up nothing in no way, shape, or form trying to communicate with me, dude. Because I'm being nice at this point in the way that I've conducted myself now. Being nice. I've given you grace. But don't tempt me, bro. Don't tempt me. Because I got the same amount of legal rights as Kev got. But I'm giving you grace because I haven't lost anything. But even if I haven't lost anything, I still got legal rights to come and get it. So just chill. Go crawl back under the rock where you was at before. Ride off into the sunset. And like my mom said, just pick up your ball and go home. That's what you need to do, Corey. Pick up your ball and just go home. That's it, brother. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Easter. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy bar mitzvahs or whatever else you want to celebrate or whatever it is that you do, brother. I wish you well and everything, bro. So, no, Will, we ain't riding out, bro. I see your comment, man. We ain't riding out, Will. You see what I'm saying, Corey? But look, bro, people will come out there and touch you, man. So stop playing. People will come out there and touch you, so stop playing. So, peace out, y'all. I'm saying what all I got to say. I got to wake up early in the morning. I got meetings and you know, real shit I got to go take care of out here in these streets and make some money. So I appreciate y'all listening to us yap and talk about this for almost 2 hours. Kev, I'll hang out in the backstage while you sign this off and me and your chat offline.
Okay, sounds good, bro.
All
right, y'all. So yes, this first of all, appreciate you, each and every one of you hanging in there. Even if you're watching it on the live, you're watching it on, or excuse me, on the replay, or watching it at 2x, whatever. This story is the goal of this whole process was to let the community know, because I've come to love this community. I love this fragrance community. I love this side of the cul-de-sac that we have built, that we are on, that we're doing. I have some ideas and some thoughts, and we're trying to grow some things, but I really do enjoy this side of the cul-de-sac, or this side of the community. And I want to make sure that no one else has to even look at going through what the three of us went through. Part of the problem is that we act as if we're in a bubble, or we act as if we're silo, when part of the thing about a community is really having that common unity and being able to communicate. And so this has been really good. Again, just to drop this information. I was offering grace as well. You all remember, I kind of haven't said anything about it. I just kind of dropped little hints because I was trying to give grace for him to take care of and do what he said he would do. It's gotten to the point where it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And there's an overwhelming amount of information that leads me to believe that that's never going to take place. So I'll say this for Corey. At the end of the day, don't send me a chat GPT, oh, we're going to do this or do that. If you want to send something to me, it's got to be on legal letterhead from an actual attorney whose information I can look up and get their bar number. Because if you send me something that is basically just you writing it, I don't care, right? Because if you want to go to court, we can go to court, and I've got this and other information that I can get in front of the judge, and I don't think you want that to happen. That's just my thought. So the only correspondence I need from you at this time, Corey, is if you're going to send anything, make it a cashier's check, not a personal check. I don't trust that. Make it a cashier's check, and you have my addresses. All right, that's it. Listen, appreciate each and every one of y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out again. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. This Thursday, my wife will be on. We're going to do a Valentine's Day type of thing as far as my favorite fragrances for her, her favorite fragrances for me. And then next Tuesday, we should be back. I think I'm scheduled to talk with my guy, Zernil Gilly, is I think what we're looking at right now. We got the new one, or one of the latest ones, Jazz. So we'll definitely be talking about that. So again, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you all next time. Be blessed and all of that fun stuff. All right. Same time, 7 o'clock.